Hello, this is Professor Dr. Sandeep Arora, Dean Pharmacy, MIT University Punjab, Mohali. The three best practices that I would like to introduce as a part of ATL Anywhere will be number one, to make sure that case studies are a part of the innovation mindset as well as innovation ecosystem. Case studies as well as reviews as well as analytical report formation, they become the initial benchmarks as to how the problem is identified, and then accordingly the innovations and answers can be found out. Many a times it is seen that there is no comprehensive review or analysis on a problem, and innovation has been initiated without giving final thoughts on what will be the critical points for research planning, execution, and how the outcomes will be ensured. So, case studies and initial analytics are a very integral part which have to be there as one of the best practices. The second part will be the cross-sectional or the multidisciplinary reading and training and industry collaborations. If I see there is a difference in the research productivity when you have a global outlook, and India has yet to progress to some standards, although it has progressed in the last many years. But the main reason, as I see, is the sort of less amount of cross-sectional or interdisciplinary reviews or views and interrelation between different sciences and technologies as well as different philosophy and thought processes. And sometimes it is also the absence of collaboration with the industry. That is also one part of the absence of cross-sectional interaction, which hampers the outcomes of the research as well as getting initiated, because the research planning has not been appropriately targeted because of the absence of these factors. Somewhere the outcomes are also not there. So that will be the second best part that I would like to, or the practice that I would like to introduce. And the third part will be the presence of translational development strategy and setting timeline that has to be learned by the researcher and innovator. Many a times the research happens without thought on whether there will be some translational outcome which will be available for the community or not. So research becomes only academic, and that is a serious sort of shortcoming as far as many of the research projects are concerned. So this has to be seriously looked into, and that will be the third best practice that I would like to ensure, that research has to be translational and it has to be outcome driven, and there has to be definite timeline. The person concerned should have an idea of setting timelines and achieving the timelines. As far as how I will be going about mentoring and engaging my students, regarding that, the best way to engage the students as well as mentor them and bring them up in research and innovation is problem-based learning and learning how to generate solutions. Because research should give solutions, and therefore how solutions can be generated after identification of problem, that becomes the first step. So many of my activities will be based on this thing: identification of problems, problem-based learning, and then generation of solutions for these problems. The second part is the identification of the innovation that is required for that problem. Many a times, some innovations are planned and they are imagined, which are very remotely connected to what innovations are actually required for that particular problem, and thereby the research outcomes falter. So, exact identification of innovation will be one part that I will be working upon. The students may be, or the researchers, or the scholars may be in different domains. They need to identify how they can get the best innovation identified that will be required. It may be again cross-sectional, it may be connected to one field or the other field, but they have to rightly identify it. And the next part naturally will be setting up the innovation targets. As we see, innovation once identified, again it has to be broken down into innovation targets. One innovation idea may have a broad scope or area of work. Specific targets have to be generated. Sometimes the research outcomes are faltered in these points also, that from a broad innovation idea, how the crystal clear innovation targets can be identified. That is one part that I would like to work upon. And the next part I would like to work upon is the essence or the knowledge of the enterprise development strategy, and the other part, that is the product portfolio planning. It may be product portfolio planning, or it may be simple outcome planning for based on whether the research is or innovation is based on science, technology, or outcome based, product based innovations. But naturally, if an enterprising spirit is there, or at least there is an essence as to something has to be converted into an enterprise, the outcome of the research gets more fruitful for the community as well as for the person, and it gets connected to the national mission also. The research and innovation should be able to generate new products, new facility for the consumers, as well as it should generate job options by making job creators and decreasing job seekers, and thereby the ratio of job makers becomes more, and there is more possibility of more jobs being created. So enterprise spirit has to be there. That is one point that I would like to work upon while I will be interacting with the students at ATL. And the last part will be the hand holding and suggesting possible solutions in different areas of science, humanities, and other aspects whenever the research is going on. With my wide field, 31 years of experience in pharmaceutical research, product development, book authorship, which ranges from pharmaceutical books as well as general books, leadership books, and other aspects. And my wide reading, I will be trying to apply all these things for the betterment and the best benefit of the people or the scholars who will be working for ATL. Thank you.